Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Rezael deck profile for post-Omniscient Awakening. The Rezael deck has finally gotten its final wave of support for the second season of the Cardfight Vanguard Divine series. With it, we have the Fated King of Miracles, Rezael Vita, and the assisted backup grade 3 Gabuelius to support some extra rearguard power to the deck. Very happy with the new support. It definitely is a boost in power that the deck needed, and just wanted to go over some of the changes I've made to the deck with the changes to some of the cards in the deck with the addition to these new cards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. We'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. For the standard, we have the energy generator with our starter being Wings of Aspiration Soul. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. The grade 1 is Patrol of Gusts Ventesta. When wrote upon by Knight of Great Advance Ascensior, call this card to rearguard and soul charge 1. And during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or Vanguard with Rezael on its card name, it gets +2, with our grade 2 being Knight of Great Advance Ascensior. When wrote upon by a grade 3 with Rezael on its card name, choose up to 1 grade 2 or less card from your drop, call it to rearguard. More setup if you discarded the proper card for the discard from for the ride deck, with our grade 3 still being the Fated One of Miracles, Rezael. You still have to run the standard Rezael, because then you will be riding the Fated King of Miracles, Rezael Vita, on top of this grade 3. For that grade 3 spot, I definitely do want to run 4 copies of Rezael Vita. Sadly, only got the 1 copy from sneak previews, so I'll either have to wait to see if I can get him from boxes, or, just purchase the remaining copies. But still, wanted to show you all the deck with the changes made, with Biscotti coming out for the additional copies of the Fated King of Miracles, Rezael Vita. This unit's also regarded as the Fated One of Miracles, Rezael. During your turn, this unit gets +5 for each Fated One of Miracles, Rezael in your soul, and all of their divine skills. So gaining the divine skill of Rezael as well. And on the Vanguard circle, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, counter +1, choose up to 2 cards from your drop with different grades and a total of grade less than or equal to the number of cards in your damage zone, and call them to rearguard. So just giving you the option to choose 2 cards from your drop with different grades and a total grade less than or equal to the number of cards in your damage zone as the added playstyle of Rezael, and then put a grade 3 or greater card with Rezael on its card name from your hand into your soul. Choose a grade 3 or less card from your drop, call it to rearguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all the units called by this effect get +5 until end of turn. So the main play with this is to be able to call an additional unit on top of setting up a rearguard column as well. With it, you could potentially call out your go-to new grade 3 being the Blessed Dragon Gabuelius as the added rearguard that you called off of this card. We also run 3 additional copies of the Fated One of Miracles, Rezael. So we have units to be able to place into the soul, with the Fated One of Miracles, Rezael, needing that additional power for being able to call out another grade 3 rearguard from the drop. You have to be able to put one into the soul as well. For the other grade 3s, we run 2 copies of Blessed Dragon Gabuelius. When this unit's placed on rearguard, Soul Bless 1, look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top or bottom of the deck. If you put it on the bottom of the deck, this unit gets +5 till end of turn. So kind of being able to determine what the top card of your deck is with this card, and then being able to leave it on the top if it's a card that you want to be able to drive check off of your Vanguard, or even this card, because when this unit attacks, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards until the end of that battle, this unit gets +5,000. If this unit was placed on rearguard by the ability of your Vanguard with Fated One in its card name this turn, and no drive checks were performed for the battle, your rearguard attack this turn, counter +1, this unit gets +10,000 power and drive -1 instead of +5,000, and performs drive checks, being able to reveal the top card of your deck and then have it be the potential trigger that you want to get when you attack. With Gabuelius is definitely a big part of the setup that this card is meant to do on rearguard, and needed setup for backup rearguard support for the Rezael deck to begin with. For the grade 2s, we're running 4 copies of Knight of Gentle Beauty, Nobia, with this card having more power setup when it's placed on rearguard. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Rezael on its card name, counter +1, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less card from among them, call it to rearguard, put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. If it's your battle phase, reveal it, put it in your hand instead of calling it to rearguard. So you don't have the multiple attack options with this card by just placing it into the hand. And when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if if you have a grade 3 or grade Vanguard with Rezael on its card name, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets plus 10,000 to the end of that battle. An additional boost option being a 30k attacker on its own when you Persona Ride for that turn by just being able to use your Soul Blast. The big thing with this card is just to remember to not, Soul Blast any of the Razaels that are in your soul, built up from your own abilities of your Rezael Vita. I have 3 copies of Knight of Bowstreaks Nobaris. I potentially do want a 4th copy. If you wanted to run a 4th, you could drop down a copy of Nobia for a 4th copy of this card. When it's placed on rear by your grade 3 or grade Vanguard's ability, it gets plus 10 till end of turn. And on rear guard at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you have a grade 3 or grade Vanguard with Rezael on its card name, Energy Blast 3, and put this unit to the soul, draw a card and look at the top card of your deck and put it on the top or bottom of the deck. More setup for that top card so you can have more of a defensive playstyle, knowing what the card is, to potentially get a damage check off of the Divine skill of Rezael, and then an additional plus 10 just when placing it from your Vanguard's ability also. For the grade 1s, running 4 copies of Sergon. When this unit boosts, if you have more rear guards than your opponent or you played in order this turn, it gets plus 5,000 until the end of that battle. And at the end of the battle, retire this unit. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose a card from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of the deck, giving you more consistency, and a good majority of the time you should have more rear guards than your opponent, because setup of your rear guards is what the Rezael deck is a big part of the offensive capabilities that is meant to do, giving you more cards in turn by getting rid of your Sergon. We're also running 3 copies of Gragon. For this card, if your unit was placed by the ability of your Vanguard with Divine Skill this turn, this unit gets on rear guard at the end of the battle, this unit boosted, retire it, counter charge 1, and plus 5,000. So the additional counter charge option in the deck by being able to also provide this card with the additional power to be able to either boost or attack on its own as well with this unit. And then for the last of the grade 1s, I have 2 copies of Aerial Sage. I honestly thought of dropping this card because I do like the Gragon as more of a counter charge option. If you were to do so, you can increase the number of your Nilbaris and also your Gabuelius if you wish, 2, 3, and 4, and just drop this grade 1 in total altogether. With the last of the grade 1s being the Sentinel lineup, so 3 copies of Bringer of Protection, Sethlon, and then the 1 Elementaria Sanctitude, with the other order being our Regalis piece, so the Gradius Cordell, for added Persona Ride options in the deck, also for this particular spot. And then for the grade 0s, I still like running the 4 copies of the Knight of Perspicacity Catalyst, just for the grade 0 option if you have less damage than the 4 that you need to set up the Gabuelius play, and additional rear guards as well. Having a grade 3 option to be able to call to rear guard, and then a grade 0 option since it still stacks up for your damage, and then an intercept option from the back row as well if you have a grade 3 or grade Vanguard with Rezael and its card name, and being able to have this unit get plus 10 if it was placed by your Vanguard's ability, and then being able to choose that other unit for one of your units. So you could choose this unit, but you could just choose in general which one you want to get the power. For our trigger lineup, we're running the 8 critical just because we have the recycle power with the Faded One of Miracles Rezael, and then the additional put into soul power with Blade Feather Dragon. The next trigger being the draw spot, so Perobi, 3 copies with the 5k shield ability, and then the last of the triggers being 4 of the generic heals, the Bringer of Distance Towns, Aranis, and our over trigger being the Valnut. Still like this card just for the restand pressure that we can give our rear guards also with this over triggers power. And that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Definitely going to be doing some more playtesting with the Rezael deck. I just figured I would share what I have currently for the deck for the release of ZBTO5. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.